everybody. This is episode 16 of the Quick Resume podcast. My name is Deck. I am the bad juju, and I'm joined by the error code Timmy Wimmy. Hi Tim.
Yeah, it's Tim. Error code Wheeze, I
Just
guess.
correct.
Apparently we're doing gamertags.
Just correcting me. Well, I didn't say the whole thing. Outed.
You did.
I said the error
you said
code.
I'm the bad juju.
I said, well, I mean, yeah, I can out myself. I can't out you.
Oh, okay, well, I outed myself anyway, so it's fine. That's it. That's our gamer tags. Feel free to add us on Xbox.
Well, yeah. It took 16 episodes, but we plucked up the car. Well, I mean, I didn't tell you I was going to do that, but
no, really, kind of throw us back. We're going to need to have a chat after this.
I did it for the two of us, but now I have like a spicy line. That's what podcasters do. That's what gamers do. So to go to the gamer realm, we have to have like a line. Like the squishy one. It's Tim. I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
You're calling me fat, bro. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello. Yes.
Hi, everyone.
It's good to be here.
Hi, Tim.
It's good to be
here. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. I'm definitely much better this week. For those of you who noticed, we did take a gap week last week. Mainly because it was a bit of a dry week, wasn't it? In terms of news,
it was dry. Yeah,
there wasn't too much. So that was partly the reason, and also I was pretty bedridden most of towards the end of the week before last. I had a cold, not coronavirus, just had a bad cold, and then I got hit by like this stomach bug that's been going around, which I hear is actually called like noronavirus or something.
Oh, like norovirus, norovirus,
like, yeah. Yeah, that's what they're calling it. So I guess
that's not a new. Norovirus isn't a new thing.
Oh, is it not?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a really bad. It's like just a bad. Bug. Yeah.
I just assumed it was something like piggybacking off.
It does sound similar,
but yeah. So I had that. So it was a bit of a double whammy. My immune system kind of got savagely beaten. So I kind of just, we just decided to take give me a week to recover and just have a chill week. And, news was fairly dry anyway. But apart from that, I'm good. I'm back to normal.
The only thing that really happened last week was was that thing that Xbox did, that marketing thing. I don't know if you saw it. It was like a music video. And they did like a remix of the song I Swear. But it was and the same band from the 90s. The songs like "And I Swear," that one. But instead of that,
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, it's great. That'd have cheered you up. That'd have cured you on the spot of the virus.
Yeah.
I
don't know how I missed that.
But instead of it's like "It's All There," and it's like a Games Pass ad, and it's the same band. It's all for one. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's really funny.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just continuing to kill it in the marketing department, but
they really are. They really have stepped up their marketing. I mean, it couldn't have got much worse, back from 2013 onwards. It was just dreadful, wasn't it? I mean, anything's an improvement over that. But
they just, whatever. But I feel like in particular the last few years, they've just been very much like on the pulse. Like I think Phil being the face of stuff and doing interviews has been good, but they like the marketing team on Twitter and stuff has very much, they've just been like,
this social media is really good.
Yeah,
it's really witty and funny and
just quite creative. They're just
also
quite creative.
Informative. Yeah, exactly. They probably made a clean out or just told the social media team just to take it in a new direction and just have fun with it.
We reported on it a while back. It was the marketing exec. The marketing team's been rehauled over the last 3 or 4 years, and I think back in maybe episode 4 or something, we said it was one of the marketing leads from Netflix had come over to Xbox as the new lead, or one of the senior boys. Anyway, all of that seems to have made obviously a big difference.
For sure.
But wicked. So I mean, for anyone else out there, we're at that time of the year where it starts to get a bit spicy. The weather starts to get a bit hot. And here in the UK, we we don't really like anything at all. We don't like the cold weather and the rain, but then the thing is it gets really hot and then we don't like that either. So we're currently at the peak of it being really hot. I think this is probably meant to be the hottest weekend of the year. So It's rough. It's hard out here, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
Do you?
We're the classic British stereotype, where we always want hot weather and we complain when it finally gets it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I know.
Classic.
I'm absolutely that guy. Like, do you? This is kind of interesting to me. Do you get like hot weather gamer guilt? I get hot weather gamer guilt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what when you mean you're just sitting indoors with the blinds shut so you don't have screen glare and you're just like,
yeah,
I feel like
I should be enjoying that. Yeah, like it's getting a melatonin.
Yeah, I definitely get that. But then I was also played cricket all day yesterday, so I'm quite happy having some gamer guilt. Guilt free, should I say, today?
Yeah, but you get you get out like for dog walking and like you do outdoor sports, whereas I do indoor sports. So, and I don't have a dog. I have rabbits who don't require walking. So
you can whack it at least.
We've tried. They just won't. They won't stand for it. They're too picky.
Oh god, fair enough. I guess I do get out fairly regularly. Obviously, my job. Is me staying inside just on a computer, like most people these days, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like today, I went out on a dog walk just for this podcast, and just my t-shirt was just soaked with sweat.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly an unhealthy guy. It's just that hot.
It's just that bad.
Like it's like 30 degrees, and there's no breeze. I'm literally looking out my window right now, and the trees are just at a standstill. Like there's just no breeze, so it's just dead heat. And yeah, playing cricket in this yesterday was quite the fitness test.
Quite the experience.
It really, really was.
Yeah.
There's zero shade. There's zero shade on a cricket field. It is just pure sun, and you're just baking in it for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good fun though. So
yeah, that's
can't
good.
complain.
That's good. So I mean, there is that. And I mean, what hot weather gamer guilt have you had this week? What HWGGs have you had this week? What games have you been playing?
Well, I mean, the standard.
The standard?
Apex, of course.
Standard.
Yeah, we're trying to get that late season grind before season 10 starts. Obviously, listeners of the podcast will know we play Apex
religiously.
Pretty much every day, right?
Addictively.
It's our go-to shooter, so addictively, 100%. We don't even enjoy it. We're like screaming at the TV half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that, and when I was sick and a little bit under, I did actually boot up Monster Train and played that for a couple hours.
Oh, nice.
Before I got a headache and had to bury my head into a pillow. But yeah, it was really cool. I actually really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you gave it a go.
I did maybe 4 runs on it.
Yeah.
And I lost to the guy with the wings.
Yeah, he's a bastard. Yeah.
Yeah. He
has so much health.
He fucked me up like three times. Yeah, I just couldn't. And then he just kept battering my thing at the top, and I was like, "Stop!
Yeah,
I can't stop you.
Yeah.
This is it." And then obviously, like you said, when a boss like clears out your floor, he locks that floor off for you.
Yeah.
So you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually he was just battering my my heart in, and the game was like, "Oh, you can fast forward this, by the way, so you die quicker." And I was like, "Great." The game's literally telling me to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So, fantastic.
Just start again. I mean, you're not looking hard.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good fun. I actually really enjoyed it, and I know what you mean with the fact, we're big Slay the Spire fans, and we also play stuff like Hearthstone and everything in the past. It does have enough differences to separate itself.
Yeah.
And it is pretty cool. I haven't unlocked any like new clans or whatever they're called, which you can like have 2 of. So I've still got like the green boys and the red boys.
But you can.
But yeah, it was fun.
You can choose like which way round you want them. I don't know if you did that because you choose one as the primary, one as the secondary, and that changes like your hero card and things like that.
I just kept the demons, the red ones, and then had the backup green boys.
I went the other way around.
Called.
My first one.
I haven't tried it.
My first run was Demon Boy, and then I was like, let's give it the swap because like the green one's a bit more defensive, and like the green one, the dude you get is like big chunky fella who like is. I think he has perks around getting healed. Like if like depending how you evolve them. Like one of them is like if you heal them, it just does 20 flat damage to the whole floor. Another one is like if you heal them, they get spikes or something. So when they take damage, it reflects some back. Or thorns, and then you just stack like hench boys behind them, which I thought was just cool. But yeah, I'm glad you gave it a go because it is. I think it is a really cool game. So I'm all for signal boosting that one.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is good. I mean, yeah, mainly on your recommendation, and then also I just checked out Xbox Rewards, and it was like
the best game.
Get an achievement on a Games Pass game.
The best game.
So I was just like,
it's the best exclusive, honestly. Microsoft Rewards.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It did give me that little nudge just to play a game, because I was just like, oh, I'll just watch YouTube, and then I was like, I could play something chill. I remember you saying Monster Train is really good. And then, I looked at my weekly thing, and it was just like, get like 3 achievements on a Games Pass game, and Monster Train is on Games Pass. So I was like, press A.
Yeah.
So I just went.
Nice.
And it was good fun. I definitely need to give it more of a go. When you guys aren't online and I'm just alone or something.
It's a good xCloud game. I think you can use there's touch controls, so you don't even need a peripheral. You can just play it on your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure.
It is a shame it's not. It's definitely a game I would guarantee I would have sunk quite a lot of hours into it if I could play it on my Switch. Unfortunately, it's not, which kind of bums me out. Maybe they have plans to go to Switch.
Sure it will.
Definitely seems like a game that will benefit from going to Switch.
It's exclusive at the moment, but these sorts of things very rarely are permanent, are they? I'm sure it will at some point.
Yeah. But it was cool. Yeah, so just a little bit of Monster Train while I was all sicky.
Good sicky game.
And then once I got my gamer energy back and chugged me some G Fuel, I went back onto Apex, like the drug addict.
Back into ranked, yeah. I know.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
What about you, my dude?
Awesome. I haven't touched anything new other than Mass Effect. I'm still chugging along with Mass Effect 3. And I just think the series is so good. I'm so glad I did go back to try it, and I know there's been like a bit of backlash with like EA like recycling like doing remakes because there's like there's been speculation they might be doing a Dead Space remake for the trilogy. I know I never played Dead Space, so honestly I wouldn't care, but obviously people have been saying like, oh, they can't make any good new games, so they're just remaking old ones. But honestly, the Legendary Edition for Mass Effect is really good. I'm playing the third one and it looks pretty good for its age. All the animations are slick. It's locked at 60. Really no complaints from me. It's just fucking good, man. It's one of those games like you can tell this is like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 game. It's just there's a lot, and this game is a lot bigger. I found there's a lot more of it. Just all the writing is just so good, and I'm like, it really makes me. I can't think of another like sci-fi epic game that I've played that hits quite as well in terms of like going to different locales and like exploring the galaxy. I know the only thing that comes to mind is like Destiny, but like it was very restricted in like the planets. Like it all looks beautiful, but there's like 5 biomes, and that's kind of it. And they look great, but there's 5, and Mass Effect, it's like hundreds. And that's part of like always what made me excited for Starfield even before I played Mass Effect. So loving it. Wish I hadn't killed Garrus hadn't died still, but I got to play with Rect again recently, so that made me really happy. It makes my heart skip a beat when I get to see my boy. But it's just so well written, man. It's just so good. So I'm still loving that. But that's really it for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So did we went over the trilogy a bit? Is it just the trilogy, or does it come with Andromeda as well?
Doesn't come with Andromeda. Just the trilogy, yeah.
Doesn't. Okay.
The first.
Did you pick up Andromeda when it was like 3-4 quid?
No.
Okay, because I
think it's on Games Pass.
I heard of like a resurgence. Yeah, I heard like a resurgence in that game where people are coming back to it, and it's obviously it's had patches after its launch, and I don't know if they gave it a frame boost or something. I can't remember, But I heard a little bit of a resurgence of people just being like, it's not actually as bad as we perceived it to be, when it first came out.
As
I
is
think
usually
people
the
were
case.
very heavily, I think people were very heavily critical on it because it was just Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
It just carries such a weight to it because of its predecessors. So yeah, I really don't think it was quite as bad as people thought, but I was quite interested in that game. I mean, I played Mass Effect 1, didn't play 2 or 3, but I was quite interested in Andromeda, and the really negative response it got made me never give it a go. So
yeah,
but it always looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard the same actually. Yeah. I've heard that more people are going back to it. I know it's on xCloud at the moment. I have been thinking about it because I've been like looking to play Mass Effect Legendary Edition on xCloud, but it's not there. So when I type Mass Effect, only Andromeda pops up. I'm like, oh, damn it. But I mean, maybe I'll go to it someday. I've had a couple of people recommend it to me and say like I should give it a go because it's quite good. And obviously all of the bugs and stuff has been ironed out by now. I don't know if I will. Maybe some point I might give it a go, but it's just time, and it's going to be worse than 2 and 3. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not opposed
Plus,
to it.
I think it's kind of the biggest one as well in terms of free roam and the expanse of it. I mean, I think every Mass Effect kind of gets a bit bigger.
Yeah, it does
with every single one, and it just expands the horizons just that little bit more.
Yeah.
Which most RPG sequels tend to do, like with Fallout 3 and 4 and everything like that. Like 4, you gutted the dialogue a bit in Fallout 4, but the world was far more expansive than 3.
Yeah.
And New Vegas. So
yeah.
But yeah,
it's
okay, cool.
It's 2 and 3 are such a step up from 1. I think I said this before, but like 1 is like I gave Mass Effect 1 like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, and the other 2 are like 9s and 10s. Like Mass Effect 2 is amazing, and 3 is really really good so far. I know people have a problem with the ending, but I'm not there yet, so I'll see what happens. But like I can't see it spoiling the rest of the game that I've had so far. Like regardless, and the whole premise of 2 is just very cool. It's just like the whole thing is you're just recruiting for a war, and like you're just going across the galaxy, like picking up like badasses across like the specialists, and it's just cool. It's like you're assembling the Avengers, and you're just meeting all these people, and then you get to choose like which of the ones you want to go with you. And like the ending, you pick different people to do different things, and if you put them in the right place, they survive, and the wrong place, they don't. Things like that. So I think 2 is like the best in terms of the simplicity, but like how effective it is for just being a vehicle to carry a game. So go and meet these cool characters who are really good in combat and X, Y, and Z, and obviously they have their own abilities and stuff as well. So yeah, but that's been me.
It's cool.
Still loving it.
Nice.
Awesome. I wanted to touch on for this week how much of a banger month this is for Xbox. This is what gamers call a banger month. So what we've got coming up we've got The Ascent, 4-player top-down twin stick shooter ARPG loot kind of game, cyberpunk.
Yeah,
looks amazing by Neon Giant, 12 developers. We've got Omno as well, which we've been seeing it teased for a while, but it's kind of like this action adventure like mystery game. It looks really good. It's got like platforming elements, and it's just some dude that's surfing around on like a staff, and he teleports around with it. It's hard to explain. It looks cool. Go watch the trailer. Omno. And all of these games are like first on Xbox. I like as of right now they're exclusive to Xbox, apart from Death's Door, which is a full exclusive. Not timed.
That looks cool.
A full exclusive. Unfortunately, not Games Pass at launch, but it is a full exclusive, and it looks amazing. Death's Door. Very like Hades, Dark Souls vibes from it, like a kind of mix of the two.
100%. Yeah, it looks really, really cool.
And that's all in the second half of this month. And then at the end of August, we've got Song of Iron as well. I don't know if you remember seeing that. That's made by one dude, and it's like sort of a semi-realistic side scroller when you play as a Viking, and it's very like heavy and quite gory. That looks.
I think cool. I did remember seeing it briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. So although that's not this month, it's still just around the corner. And then obviously Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming out this month as well. Not an indie, but and I've been saying for a while that I think July is kind of the dam is starting to crack, in terms of what Xbox has been working on for years, and the first party, not just the first party catalog, but the partnerships and stuff. Because we know there's like a big game a month coming out for the next 6 months. That's been like part of their marketing campaign. It's Flight Simulator. I think next month is Psychonaut, and then obviously November is what's it called, Forza, and then Halo December, and there's some other stuff in there that I'm forgetting. But yeah, you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting. I'm ready to sort of try one of these games. I could go for like a little 8-hour game. That's just something fresh at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's hard to pin kind of how big the Ascent is going to be, isn't it? Like, it's kind of hard to tell if it's going to be a fun little 8 to 10 hours, like cool loot, and like just like a big power spike. You feel cool and you complete the game like quite quickly with your friends, or if it will actually be quite expansive, quite replayable, quite deep. It's quite hard to tell. I mean, it's not a full price game, is it? So like, I think if you wanted to get it, I imagine it's like 30 quid or something.
Yeah,
right.
It is Games Pass though, the Ascent.
Yeah, it is Games Pass. Yeah. So yeah, it is quite hard to pin down what that's going to be, but I think bottom line, regardless of its length, I think it will be fun, and it does look pretty cool. Both artistically and gameplay.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It does look quite cool.
Yeah, I can't see it being like, it's still an indie game. I think it will be a kind of one and done, but that's not to say the experience still won't be good. But yeah, I'm not expecting it to sort of take over the next month of my life in terms of being playable. But I'm definitely excited to try it because it looks good, man. And it's very unique. I haven't played anything like that in a while either. I know like twin stick shooter usually isn't my cup of tea, but it has all those elements of like, the abilities and the progressions and the leveling up and the loot and all of that. So I think there's enough in there to make it kind of stand out and make it interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I boring you?
Sun's really taken out. No. It's just I went out on like a 2-hour walk before this, and I'm feeling exhausted. The sun just saps your energy.
I'm going to clip those 15 seconds and send it to Neon Giant. This is what he thinks of your bloody game.
Please don't. Well, to be fair, I'm a little bit more hyped for Death's Door over the Ascent.
Death's Door does look hot.
But Death's Door isn't co-op, so I want to play with my buds.
And the team is bigger than 12 people.
So
but yeah, nice variety.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. But the Ascent has co-op going for it, so that looks cool.
For sure. I wanted to mention this. I know we talked about the Xbox Twitter account earlier, just because I was considering skipping over it, but it's just so fucking funny that I just can't not mention it. I know you don't go on Twitter. I usually don't go on Twitter much, but I only have been because of our Twitter account, which by the way, follow, like, subscribe. Shit heart. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So do that, but also, whenever that Xbox, anybody actually from Xbox, so like not just the official account, not just the Games Pass account, anybody, even if it's like a programmer, just anybody, there's always, without fail, it's more consistent than death or taxes that someone will be in the comments saying PS5 is better. Just that, PS5 is better.
Yeah, that's just his
it's
job.
So weird.
He wakes up every day, and that's what he wants to achieve. That's what I need to achieve in my life. Yeah, and then he just goes back to bed. That's he's done.
It's just the weirdest shit. Like, it's almost like maybe it's a bot. Like, maybe it is just a bot and I'm getting wound up for no reason. But like, it's so weird. Why? Like, some people just say like, "Oh, I had such a good week at work, so sunny. My team was so supportive. I worked with amazing people. PS5 was better." So, what are you talking about?
I know. Yeah, it's so unnecessary. I mean, you'd like to think it's a bot, but let's be honest, it probably
isn't.
It's probably just some dude that has notifications turned on for all Xbox tweets, and then just has that always on his clipboard, so he's just always just pastes it and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Good woman.
And And the Xbox Twitter account just replied, to the people in our reply saying PS5 is better. The console is the one you enjoy playing, you have fun. So it's just this kind of kill them with kindness. But I just wanted to mention it because it's just the sort of person that just sits on Twitter PS5 is better, or even the opposite. If someone was to go on any Sony post about Xbox, it's like, what are you doing? Go and have fun. Stop that. Get some help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and the comment is so true. It literally is just fucking shut up. If you go home after a hard day's work, boot up whatever fucking console you want, whichever one you're enjoying, and that's it. That's it. Some people have both consoles. Some people will enjoy playing Spider-Man on Monday. Some people will enjoy playing I'm struggling to think of an Xbox one. I don't know, Gears 5 on Tuesday.
Boom. Death's Store.
It
Flight
really
Simulator.
Exactly. It's the best, whatever console you're playing is the best one.
Yeah, man. Keep it wholesome, guys.
Couldn't agree more.
Keep it wholesome. I know it's hot. I know crime rates go up when it's hot. I know domestic abuse is 40% more likely when England loses. But it's,
it's not coming home.
Take it easy. It's not coming home. It's not coming home. The cops are coming home.
It's not coming
home. The police are coming to your door for domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Don't hit people because your team lost. That might be a political comment, actually. Maybe I should keep my hands off that. But don't beat people up when your team lose.
Yeah, you can beat people up for any valid personal reasons,
of course,
but not through football.
Somebody grabs the last loaf of white bread on the store, take him out. RKO him into the shelf.
Just wipe them out. Or in more recent times with the heat wave, I feel like if someone grabbed the last pack of Magnums or something, I think I would shoot him with a Magnum.
Yeah.
I think just pull out a 44 Magnum, the loudest gun on the planet, and blow his head off.
Thanks. Killed by death by Magnum. Yeah, so that's that. Trolls online and in real life.
Good. Yeah.
Coming on to our first party segment. I love being able to have a first party segment. I really enjoyed that. We didn't have one last week, but now, because, Xbox first party is huge.
Yeah, this is a thing now. We're going to have a first party segment.
I've done it before. I just try and organise it. I don't usually announce it, but, I try and organise it so that the first party starts first. Yeah? A jingle.
Announce it with air horns, confetti.
It's the first party segment.
Yeah. You're pretty shit hot with the editing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You fling some confetti at the screen when we say first party segment.
Yeah, I'll play the Grunt birthday party. No.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So, anyway. First off for the first party. Avalanche, so we all know Avalanche. They're co-developing Contraband with Xbox. We saw it this year. Wow, what a lovely trailer. Don't know what the fuck the game is. Don't need that. There was recently a big interview with the team over at Avalanche to talk about their relationship with Xbox. And it's just pretty nice. So I'm just going to read you the final quote here at the bottom. That they said we've had a great relationship, yada, yada, yada. All the stuff that they're going to say, of course. However, they speak about Games Pass, which is always interesting to hear about how developers feel about Games Pass, because, of course, there was a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and what does it mean? Shit. Fear and uncertainty. Disinformation, bang, around Games Pass and the type of games that it's going to make. It's it's going to kill the industry, people are just going to make live service games. And I know this one probably will be a live service game. But anyway, this is what they said. Xbox Games Pass made Xbox a way more important platform than we ever initially thought. Games Pass has been really great for us, especially if we look at our self-published title. The Hunter, Call of the Wild, helped us prove our service model, and Xbox Games Pass was fantastic because we were able to reach so many players. It's a good way for people to try the game, and since we have such a massive DLC catalogue for that title with over 20 DLCs, it's a beautiful way of getting people in, getting engaged and showing that it's a stellar game. Then people are really tempted to buy more. So the business model really works to our advantage. So obviously their take is that the previous live service game they've used, they found that Games Pass was a good way to keep that barrier to entry low. It's not immensely surprising, but I think it's sometimes a lot of the public can react in a funny can like get offended on devs' behalf. Oh, they're going to mandate and force that you make live service games, which, you know, they've said before that they don't mandate that anybody makes any type of game. They're pretty much just write blank checks and say, go make a good game. And if the developer wants to make a live service game, they'll bloody well go and do it. So, yeah, it's just, it's reassuring, I would say, to hear this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And it just, like you said, it just increases everyone's faith in Games Pass, right? Regardless of what kind of game you're making, live service or not, it just leaves a good taste in their mouth, you know, like they're much more supportive over it, and they'll be much more willing to take a risk and make something that's different, you know, not a live service game, but put it on Games Pass because of just, you know, the positive outlook they now have on it. And the outreach of Games Pass at this point is just ridiculous. Like, it's 99% of all Xbox players, right? And now even PC, you know, with Games Pass Ultimate and stuff like that, you know, like, it's crazy. Like,
the attach rate is really high. I can't remember the number exactly, but it is high for Games Pass, which is also,
it must be
like, why would you not? Like, you know, I know some people have problems with like ownership, and they want to make sure they own their games in case there's a solar flare directed by the government, you know, to take out the Xbox network. Like, but that's not really. Most people aren't concerned about that, and so just have Games Pass because it's a good deal. But I mean, there's been like loads of devs on like social media who have like been like praise the amount that Games Pass has allowed them to sell their game essentially. And actually, this goes quite nicely hand in hand with some news that happened the other week. So we never spoke about it. I think either we missed it or it was between episodes or something. But there was like there was a load of devs that were like speaking about how badly, indie devs who were talking about how badly they feel that they're treated on a certain store of a certain other console manufacturer whose house colours might be blue.
Steve's blue, right?
So grey.
Nintendo?
Yeah, not Nintendo. Even though that wouldn't surprise me either. And anyway, so like one of these devs was like,
it's
they're scared. They're usually quite scared to speak about it because they don't want to be put on like a blacklist. And this guy, you know, basically said it's like, you know, it's been so infuriating that I'm willing to burn bridges over it now. And he said, like, this is what happens. You know, they require you to pay like 20. What was it? It was like 25 grand to get listed on the storefront. And they were getting frustrated by the fact that their games were never advertised, whereas on other platforms, indie games for like the week they launch are put on the store front and center, and they get charged 25 grand to put they get charged to have to put it on the store. And they also said
so it's 25 grand, and their game's just
exactly
like deep within the store.
And you might think, oh well, surely that doesn't make a huge difference, but then like a lot of the, because like 6 or 7 more devs chimed in and they were like, yeah, we've had exactly the same experience, and they shared like data and stats, and they showed like a pie chart of like the sales that their game got. And bear in mind, PlayStation has far and away the biggest install base, like double of what Xbox has, and maybe 1.5 to 1.8 of what Switch has out in the wild. So they should be selling more, but they're not. They're selling less than what is on Xbox. Like, and the pie chart was like, you know, 2/3, you know, maybe like, what was it? It was like maybe 40% Xbox, 40% Switch, and then 20% PlayStation. And some games were like hardly had any, like this, like it was a tiny sliver of it, you know, on PlayStation, which like, that just shouldn't be happening.
On PlayStation.
And they said that like it's very difficult, like the whole process of getting like certified and stuff is very difficult as well. But you know, so it's worth mentioning because that's obviously something that Xbox have been very. At the beginning of the gen, PlayStation were thought of being very indie friendly, and Xbox had that whole thing with like they required like certification for like every update kind of thing. Do you remember this? And like there was a big blowback for Xbox to take that away, so they didn't need to do all this like unnecessary accreditation and stuff for updates to go through, which they did away with. But now like it seems like the tides are kind of turning with that again, and people are getting a bit pissed off that PlayStation are just. And this is the thing, because, you know, it kind of falls in line with PlayStation's brand, that it's just, we sell our console with our blockbuster games. So they just have their own first-party titles dominating the storefront. And I know maybe you could make the argument that Xbox has to lean into indies a bit more because their first party has been lacking. But I mean, we'll see. As it develops, we'll see. Even like this month, we've got Microsoft Flight Simulator and many indies coming up. But Games Pass changes that. They have to kind of market the games within that, otherwise people aren't going to subscribe. They're not going to see it. So let's bring it up. Do you have?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it sounds. It sounds like quite a toxic environment. Trying to get a game, especially being a small indie developer, onto a platform to try and outreach people. Because it's. I mean, from what I can tell, finding new games or anything like that it's very easy to do on Games Pass. I mean, I know for a fact that like on the dashboard, front and center, there's like a Games Pass. There's always like a Games Pass icon, and I feel like that always has like the newest game or like the games that came out on a this week sort of thing, and it sort of rotates.
Yeah, like what's new?
Them,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. But it's just on like a tiny little icon, but you can see like the image of the game,
that's right.
Like the background, their art and logo, and it's eye catching. And I feel like they rotate that out for all the new games. And then once you click on the tile or go into Games Pass, it's really easy to just see new games. This is what's been added this week. Like there is literally a category for stuff added this week, and then there's stuff that's just new in general. Like over the month. And it's very easy to find, these sort of games. I mean, I'm not too certain on the UI of how the PlayStation Store does theirs, but clearly it's not nearly as intuitive as that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. And this is should be said that this might be like a very small focus group of people who are pissed off and have just been rubbed the wrong way. Maybe the rest of the other indie devs are having a cracking time and it's really no problem. But it's worth bringing up because it was a number of devs like jumped in and said, like we've had a dreadful experience. Like nobody's seeing our game, nobody's buying it, and it's damaging our profits. And if we want to get on the storefront, we've got to pay $25,000 to get there. And like I think some other devs have said, like each service has their own pros and cons of trying to like get it's not like it's the easiest process for everyone, but this seems to be particularly egregious. But I wanted to go over it.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's a shame to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, back to the first party. Category. Fallout 76. Nice. That first party game that Xbox owns. Is
huge.
Last week they brought out their newest DLC, their newest expansion that's been received quite well, I feel. I read a couple of previews and reviews and a lot of people were saying like now Fallout 6 is where it's at, where it should have been at for launch. Like it's performing well, there's a lot in there, it feels good, it plays well, but specifically like with frame rate boost as well, and all of that. People say it's quite pretty now as well, and anyway, it's just a lot of stuff going on. So like, they were also speaking about this in like an interview as part of the expansion. They basically said that they've mapped out the next 2 years. So how gamers like to wish games are dead and say, "Oh, game's dead. Do people still play that?" It's still going. It's going to be going for another 2 years. So
I do find that quite interesting though. The fact that they have mapped out the next 2 years, because I mean, when did that game come out? 2018. 2017?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I feel like it's been out for a few years.
2018? Right? Yeah, 2018 sounds right. Yeah.
I think 2018 sounds right. So it's fairly. I don't want to say old, but it's been out there for a while. It's been pretty stale for a while, but getting better. Sure.
No, it's had loads of updates.
Clearly at its peak. But I do find it interesting that they still, even from this point, mapped out 2 more years of content. I'm always glad to see developers support their games. There's nothing worse than, someone who bought this full price and then just seeing it die. Right, like that just sucks. You kind of just feel like, what, my money? What happened to my money? We had the same feeling when we did with Anthem, didn't we? We all bought Anthem.
Oh, the worst offender
there. Yeah, we played it a lot, and we were like, "There's some real potential here," and we always like genuinely talked about it on a regular basis for years saying like, this game is, they're working on it. There's Anthem 2.0. Like I'm willing to come back and give it a go.
I'll come back to it.
And we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that on a pretty regular basis, and then they were just like, it's dead. No, we don't want Anthem 2.0 anymore. We decided to just take a Christmas bonus instead. And we're just like, our money? This game's just not existing anymore. My money.
It's fucking crazy, isn't it? No other industry with that stuff happen. Yeah, it's bonkers. So yeah, I mean, it's always preferable that the game keeps going, especially when there's something to it. Like I think conceptually, Fallout 76 has a lot going for it. I know people say that some people think it's like a horrible thing because it doesn't have the same, like, you don't have like your in-depth dialogue choices and the reactive environments and things like that to like your choices. But I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair. But a lot of what Fallout is amazing at is the environmental storytelling and the atmosphere. And I think 76, from what I've played, I have played it before, does carry that through. And I mean, it makes sense to have other people running around from the same vault as you, like from a canon point of view. I think by the sounds of it, they probably need to sort out how they're managing the PvP, VE stuff, with other people. I've heard that's been kind of overhauled because that's always difficult to manage. Sea of Thieves, Exhibit A. But
yeah,
but yeah, so it's
hard to do in all genres. The PvP inside of an MMO. Like I know that we played ESO, and I felt like it was really janky in that as well. I feel like the best way to do it is to just have select areas to go to. Like there were areas you could go to in ESO that were just like, you enter here and it's just a battleground for PvP. Yeah. No rules, no anything. You leave the area, you're back in PvE.
Yeah.
Like when you try and combine it and blend the two worlds together, it's just a bit weird. Like you just find someone shooting you in the head like 80 times until you get so annoyed. Yeah. Then you retaliate back and then it becomes a proper fight.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but like I think you see, because like you do that thing where you like segregate it, but then I think you have very little people going to the PvP, like I don't know how it is for ESO, but like the only example I can think of is like arenas and Sea of Thieves. That mode died long ago. I think it was this time last year. Maybe they said that they're not going to do any updates for it anymore because the player count is like down in the 500s. It's like nothing. Yeah. People would much rather just play the adventure mode, but then also if you include the PvP with the PvE, you get like, yes, it should work. I think it does work like a good majority of the time. You have sort of the tension and of being around another player. Will they, won't they? It gives that opportunity to have like the social dynamics and like in-game chat and things like that. But it'll get ruined by griefers. That's the downside. Like griefers will just come in and 14-year-old will come in and their enjoyment is literally just pissing you off. And so if there's not a protective measure against that, which I didn't even know how you would begin to start to do that, that can get quite annoying, I think, understandably.
Yeah, it must be so hard to be on the team to try and integrate that sort of thing into the game. All the guys doing PvE are just like, oh, this is cool. Look at this riddle we just made. Yeah. And these guys like sweating over a desk, just like, how do we stop the grief?
Yeah. It can't be stopped.
Yeah, it's very tough to blend the two together. I think Sea of Thieves did it very well, to be fair. I think but we did have our fair share of annoying experiences as well. Yeah. Like it wasn't all sunshine and daisies.
Yeah.
It was pretty annoying sometimes.
Oh, without a doubt. I think
but then it was also hilarious.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the difficulty there with Sea of Thieves is like it works well in the sense that the game is very slow. So like when you see a ship in the distance, you have a lot of time to react to that. But then once you're engaged in the fight, it becomes really messy, and that's I don't want to get into all of Sea of Thieves, but I've spoken about before how I think the combat in Sea of Thieves is just dreadful.
It's a bit
exactly. It doesn't feel good, and it's really limited. It's a weakness of the game, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. And then because they have this whole thing where you like spawn back in your ship, it's easy to just get people can just kill you over and over again without sinking your ship, and you just are just wasting your time. And at some point, like people have spoken about it before, where it's like if you've been killed or your ship sinks, you should transfer server so that you can't just come back to the same team, or you should transfer out so you just can't be continuously griefed. But the strain I imagine that would put on the servers and how difficult that would be to code. I'm not surprised they haven't done it, but it's just there's always that give and take, and I know they've tried to mitigate it with because you can revive in Sea of Thieves now. I mean, that, don't you? We did the Tall Tales. That I think is that supposed to minimise it a little bit, so you don't just die and you're waiting, but you have a bit of time for someone to come and revive you. But difficult to balance for sure.
Which did help.
Yeah, definitely.
That did help. That was a nice addition. To be fair,
definitely. Overall, I think by the sounds of it, we're both happy to see Fallout 76 hitting its stride, and we keep saying we'll go back and give it another go. I've got it installed, and this is the second part of the story. Actually, is that they haven't got a next-gen upgrade on the roadmap, but it's something they are actively working on, so they don't have a date for us or anything, but they are working on it, and that's probably the point where I'll be like, okay, I'll give this a go now.
But they did give it a frame boost, though, so it is locked at 60. It just doesn't have the higher resolution.
Bells and whistles, that's right.
Yeah. Which is still nice, locked at 60 will be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, we've been looking to get into an MMO again or something to play with our friends. And, we were always a toss-up between ESO. We kind of wanted to go back to ESO, but I was always on the bandwagon of just giving Fallout 76 another go, because I do feel like it's in a state where it could be really fun now. I think if I were to go to any MMO right now on the Xbox platform, it would probably be Fallout 76.
I probably would as well. Yeah.
So maybe in the future, maybe we'll finally pull the trigger on that, and we can give you our insights on it on the show.
Yeah, definitely watch this space. Cool. Next up in the first party pants is Halo Infinite is confirmed to have a ping. I don't know if this was confirmed before. I don't think it was, but it was mentioned in an interview just offhand, and I think it was a bit of an oopsie moment, oopsie doops. The ping system just like Apex, which is fucking wow, one of the best evolutions in the genre, kind of ever. The ping system.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely genius. I think it's one of those things where the only downside is that you can sometimes notice that it's taking up an extra button. For example, in Apex, grenades are mapped to up on the D-pad, which can be a bit awkward, and then that brings up a selection wheel. It's not the end of the world, and definitely doesn't outweigh the benefit of a ping system. But you can sometimes tell that's. But other than that, do you find yourself doing this in other co-op games that we play? Your brain is I'll ping that, and then you can't. And you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's become a reliant. I feel like I need it in every game where I'm playing with another player now. It's insane. When Apex introduced the ping system, it was revolutionary. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like every FPS or every co-op game, RPG, anything needs a ping system.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, there's this over here. Diablo or 3, for example, could use that and just be like ping a legendary or something like that. Rather than it just being on your minimap. It's amazing, and I'm glad that that Halo Infinite will be using it, because no doubt it'll be very, very helpful.
I think what is really good about it as well is that it's not just a big part of it is that it's good to be able to use when you're playing with, when there's pre-made matchmade, not pre-made, it's you're match-made with randos, and it's of course that's good because you don't have to speak. Yeah. They know not people aren't speaking in game chat mostly. Obviously, that's a big benefit. But also, even when you're going in with a pre-made, when me and you and our mates play together, it's vital. Call outs are fine. Me saying over here isn't as helpful as me being able to literally point to right where it is, and it's what makes it so good is exactly. All the pings and stuff, the way that they do comms in Apex, it's contextual. So if you ping that, there's a voice line for your character to say, oh, there's an R301 here. It's there's this here, an open door. All of these things are worked into, massaged into the ping system. So hopefully they follow the same. And I've always been an advocate of this because it's it just enhances your ability to be cooperative. Really. It's having another limb, really, in game is what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, if I were to play a game now, like a competitive game that didn't have that, yeah, I'd feel like a core part of the game was missing, and I'd be like, this feels weird. Like I don't like it. It feels clunky.
Yeah.
And it's just a ping system. Like the combat might be fantastic, but I would feel like the game would be clunky just because it doesn't have that. It just helps the game flow so much better. Everyone's just always on the same page. Like it just really helps with that. So yeah, no, awesome.
Definitely. Okay, next up, we've spoken about this before, but the Coalition we know that they said that they were taking a break to work on something new to sort of get used to Unreal Engine 5. So we know that Gear 6 is a while off because they're just kind of going to get used to the tools and all the newness that Unreal Engine 5 comes with. That was kind of came from insiders, and then that was kind of reinforced by the blog post that they put out. They seemed to imply that they were working on something new. A LinkedIn page that went up, I think it was just yesterday, or in the last week, whenever you're watching this, said that one of the workers said that they were working on a new IP at Gear. So we've had that's kind of as close as you can get to official without being official confirmation that there's a new IP in development at the Coalition, which is obviously really exciting because I spoke about this in the early episodes of the show that I want them to work on something new. My only it's not really reservation, but my only sort of talking point around this is that does new IP, is that going to mean something else in the Gears franchise? Because, for example, like Titanfall.
Well, you could claim you can claim something like Apex as a new IP over time.
Exactly, they're the same universe, but it is a new IP. Like, you can have merchandise sold based on Apex, and that won't be overlapping with Titanfall. And same with Avowed, with what Obsidian are making, and the Pillars of Eternity universe. That's a new IP, but it's the same universe. I mean, I'm not by no means up to scratch on any of the legality of this, but that's my understanding of it. So, could this be a fully fledged Hivebusters spin-off? I don't know. Would that count as new IP? I don't know. Could it be like an ODST style, spin-off of Gears, or is it just something completely new? That was just kind of my talking point. Anything to add?
From the Locust perspective.
Oh, my dude. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool, to be honest. Yeah, being like a sort of a high ranking or like a squad leader or a commander in like the Locust army, and maybe just seeing it from their point, from the fact that because when you play from the Coalition's perspective, but like when you play from the Coalition's perspective, it just seems like they're just here to murder and rape, right? But like maybe they're not. Like maybe they got here ages ago because their planet was screwed up, and they're just trying to, I guess, still trying to take over, right? But they have a goal in mind, sort of thing, and it's not just savage.
Well, isn't
I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Isn't the law just kind of that they were like humans exposed to emulsion, and then like they just want the planet?
I think so, yeah.
They're just battling for territory essentially. But I mean, I get it.
It'd be cool if they gave it a little bit more emotion and a bit more of a perspective from the Locust side or something. I don't know. It's just an idea. Yeah, just play it from that.
I mean, but I've got to be honest. I would probably prefer something totally new and original from the Coalition. However, I'm not opposed to them doing something with
me too,
with the Gears universe, because the Gears universe has so much dead space in it. Like, as in, there's so much unexplored. Like, what the fuck is Serra? That's the planet that the humans are on. What is that? Where's Earth? Like, what's going on? Like, none of this is ever explained. Like, and like the continent that you're on in Serra is very specific, and we don't know what happened to the rest of the planet. Like, so like, what is so like?
It'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool just to see a whole prequel to how it all happened, like how this like emulsion outbreak happened, and like the turning of everyone, and how it just slowly all kind of went to shit. Well, sort of like how The Walking Dead did their they did another series called Fear the Walking Dead, didn't they? Where it's like a prequel to how everything happened and how it got. It was like before it started. It was like from what do they call it? Ground Zero or Patient Zero or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was from that point and how the world just like slowly got to the point where The Walking Dead happened. So it was like a prequel to everything. So it'd be kind of cool just to see how, like the planet, the government, how everything runs, all that kind of stuff. Just more lore, and then how everything kind of went to shit and got to the point it was where you picked up with Marcus Phoenix in Gears 1. That'd be cool. But then I also agree that seeing something completely new would be sick as well. Like just ditch Gears.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like the stuff that happened prior to Gears that we know of, like in canon, is like the Pendulum. They called it the Pendulum Wars, and that was like kind of what was it? It's the COG, and who was the other faction? I can't remember. It's essentially two political like government bodies were fighting over resources like oil, which was like, and that's how they discovered Emulsion. They discovered the locus and what was going on there, and there was shady government stuff going on down there anyway. But a lot of people have been saying that would be a cool era to revisit. But part of me is like yes, but also again, like that's like such a tiny sliver of like what's going on in the Gears universe. Like what else is going on here? Yeah. Like, do we have interstellar travel? Why aren't we on Earth? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why did we leave Earth and come here?
Yeah.
And it would just be more of the same as well, right? It would still be a very similar style shooter.
Exactly.
I imagine. Sure, the story is different, the context is different, but it would be more of the same. So I do kind of agree that it'd be nice just to see a whole new universe, fresh, a whole new genre. I'd like to see them step away from the shooter genre, or at least take a different take on it. Yeah. Make it first person or something like that.
I mean,
rather than over the shoulder, or just an RPG would be kind of cool.
I would be so down. Like, I don't think they need to ditch the cover shooter because frankly, I think they do the best cover shooters in the industry. Well, one of them. But I'd like to see them not do a Gears one where it's like really heavy and clunky and there's wall bouncing. Just make it like a standard cover shooter. But yeah, like you said, an RPG take on it, maybe more mobility around it as well. Stuff like that, I just think like an evolution of like what they've been doing on Gears is what I want to see them do. If they don't want to do it in Gears, fine. Maybe this is their chance. Like evolve that because they just do it really well. But I don't want it feeling like Gears, sure. So I'm totally in agreement with you there. I want it feeling like something new.
Yeah. I have a feeling it will be the same universe though, because Gears is a very expansive universe. Not much of it is covered, like you said. They got a lot of room to create something entirely new, but still keep it in the same universe. It's a lot of work to come up with an entirely new concept, universe, lore, all that, and build a game around it where they could just keep it in the same universe, but just do something different.
Supposedly they were working on that new IP before they got turned into the Coalition, that Shanghai one that I think we've spoken about before. We saw like a trailer for it when they used to be Black Tusk Studios. I mean, we don't know how far in development they were, so that might have just been proof of concept or whatever. But at the same time, while they are the Gears studio, at the same time, they must be itching to try and do something new. Like, there's no way they haven't played around with some other IPs. So who knows? And they're getting bigger. They're getting bigger by the year, Coalition. So they're going to have other teams to be able to do it. So yeah, we'll see. It's exciting stuff. I think that team is really, really talented. So I am excited to hear more about it. That should be like a 2023 game, probably. So
yeah, cool.
The final bit of news for the first party segment is yes. Allegedly, there's a Destiny 2 and a Halo crossover coming later this year. Now, take this with a huge pinch of salt because this came from like an unverified account on Reddit. But it just sounds kind of realistic. I could see this happening. Xbox put Banjo on Smash. I could see this, and this would be for a Halo anniversary, obviously. It'll be Halo's 20th anniversary, and Xbox's, obviously, both of them at the end of the year. So this wouldn't surprise me at all. But if it is true, allegedly, there's a couple of exotic weapons coming through to Destiny, such as sniper rifle, gravity hammer, and a couple of other armor sets. So the Titan would get a Reach Spartan, the Warlock would be the Arbiter, and Hunter would be an ODST set. So I just think that Xbox are far and away being the most playful producer in the industry at the moment, like doing this sort of stuff. And I know it must be complicated with IP rights and stuff, but I'm happy to see them not being scared to do this because it's fun, man. It's just really fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just looking at this, I feel like that's a really fun idea. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Personally, and like you said, yeah, Xbox do like having fun with this sort of thing. So, but obviously, it's quite hard to actually predict whether that's going to happen. But I'm well on board.
Yeah,
like it sounds pretty cool, man.
I'm there. If it happens, I'm there. Yeah, I'd like to see it. It's like the I mean, I know that this is different because it's like first party to first party, but they did the Halo mission in Forza Horizon 4. I've been trying to find it for ages, but you need to be in like a particular season. Yeah. It needs to be summer specifically, which you can like do, but yeah, they like doing this sort of stuff. So. Yeah. And obviously, Sea of Thieves do a load of different sales and promotional stuff in their ships. They've done like Gears stuff.
And they just did the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Obviously, the Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I would love to see that. Yeah, nice.
Next up, Dark Souls 3 got frame rate boost. It's a bit weird, kind of out of nowhere, just by itself. Just Dark Souls 3 got frame rate boost.
Yeah, it's cool.
Bless you, man. Bless you, man.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry. I did it away from the mic. Hopefully it didn't blow everyone's ears out.
It's got blown out. That's fine.
Dark Souls 3 FPS. That's cool. That's nice. I always felt like Dark Souls 3 was quite smooth anyway, but
I don't know. Dark Souls
at points, I remember it dropping.
Dark Souls, they were always quite bad for frame rate. They were like 30 and they dropped beneath. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's better than like Dark Souls 1. Blighttown. Everybody knows about bloody Blighttown.
Blighttown.
More like Frametown.
God, that was a good
one.
Nice.
But it was a weird thing because it was leaked. Xbox Italy put it out on their Instagram like a few hours, like just out of nowhere. Everyone was like, "Hello." So is there a new batch of FPS games coming? And then like a couple of hours later, they said it officially. So I'm curious if there is like a batch that's meant to come out and this one just leaked early. So they were just like, or if this is just one they've been working on, because apparently this one required a different technique and it was quite challenging. So maybe they were just working on a different technique to use for different types of games, and this was just the first success that they've had doing it. So yeah, I mean maybe
either way.
Yeah, maybe we're expecting a new batch, maybe we're not. Who knows?
Yeah. Either way, yeah.
Either way.
It's cool.
There's a graphic. Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I'll put it on screen for the viewers. But obviously, if you're listening via audio, I can't do that to you. Yeah, we're not. The technology isn't yet there yet for me to feed a picture through your ear and into your brain. But as soon as I figure it out, I'll be doing it. But there's a graphic that's been thrown around. There's a graphic that's been thrown around in the past by Xbox when they've spoken about xCloud, and it's like, to describe it, it's like there's some clouds, there's a clock, and there's like an arrow pointing through the clock. And this has been a couple of insiders who have like data mined this stuff in the past, like posting this on Twitter now. So that picture that you can see right there, what the fuck do you think that is?
I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it. I don't know.
There's a lot of concentration.
Give me your take on it. I'm drawing a blank.
I reckon this is like cloud enhanced download speeds, or the only other thing we've spoken about before that has something related to this was like being able to stream a game while it's downloading. So like you can play it while it's downloading because you can just straight stream it instead of having to wait for it to download. And that service,
that kind of makes sense
yeah.
because no, carry on.
I was going to say
It's
which is obviously that's a huge feature. I feel being able to play a game while it's downloading kind of eliminates those waiting times. Streaming it, quality won't be as good, but doesn't still awesome. What do you
think? Yeah, no, actually, I think that's actually kind of right. And I mean, I think based on the image of it's like blocks before and then a solid arrow going around the back end of the clock, it kind of makes sense that it's just like this part's downloaded, you can play it from this part, but like the choppy block bits are still, insinuating it's still downloading some of the game. I think that kind of makes sense. I think
graphic analyst Timmy Wimmy in the house.
Spoiler alert! I made that.
Yeah.
Image.
Oh.
I just wanted to see if you could get it.
Yeah. I hope it is that.
No, it's yeah. It makes sense. The image does kind of convey that.
Because
cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
There are so many times that we've like as a friend group have been like, oh, do you want to boot this up again? Something we played in the past, and we're like, oh, that was fun. Oh, it's there's been an update, or maybe we're just like feeling it, and then we all go to our game library, and like 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 of us have it downloaded, but one doesn't, and like, well, guess we're not playing this. And then by the time the next day rolls around, we're like kind of over it, and like we never got to play it because of it, But this would allow you to just be like, okay, well, put it on download, but just stream it, and play with us in the meantime. And I think that's awesome. That's like a really, really cool feature. So hopefully, fingers across for that.
Yeah, no, that'd be really awesome.
Hopefully, we have some more news to speak about next week in regards to that, if anything happens this week, but we'll have to see. Phil Spencer. Have you heard of this guy? Small little
Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak. He was on the Kind of Funny. He went on Kind of Funny for an interview. Like he did a podcast with them last week, and that dude is so cool. I know, he's just a cool guy.
He's
just a cool guy, man. He's a gamer. He's in for the gamer hours. He happens to be head of Xbox, but he's in the gamer realm. And as part of it, they asked him loads of questions about this, that, and the other. And they spoke about like certain peripherals and particularly Dualsense features in the Xbox controller. And he essentially said that he felt that Sony had done a really good job with their controller, and they're looking at doing something like that at some point in the future in terms of the haptics and the adaptive triggers. They're quite good with their accessories and stuff, but they definitely, it's something. I'm sure they had looked at it before, but maybe they just thought we'll just let PlayStation test the waters and won't bother right now. So maybe at some point in the future we'll see something like this appear on the Xbox controllers. I generally feel like controllers are it's got quite the innovation on them. Mostly has gotten quite stagnant. I know the only exception is PlayStation. I think they've been quite good with like trying the touchpad and the light bar, and now the adaptive triggers. To mixed success because everybody hated the light bar. The light bar was a piece of shit. It was an objective piece of shit. It just reflected off your screen. It was terrible. So round of applause for that, to be honest. But I do feel like generally, like maybe in the 360 era, everybody kind of found what a good controller felt like, apart from Nintendo, who insist on making square fucking controllers. And we've kind of just gotten stuck with that. And what do you think about like controllers and like innovation and all that, and this, I guess?
I agree. It really hasn't changed much, has it?
No.
There's been some very minor changes to the Xbox controller over the course of the first 360 one. And to be fair, I don't know if this is a biased opinion, but the actual ergonomics of an Xbox controller is far more comfortable than any other controller I've had.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, the analog sticks being on 2 different levels, like amazing.
Yeah.
Like I don't like having them on the same level.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a little bit weird.
Staggered, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. But yeah, there hasn't been much change, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I don't really think the controller is an area you need to look at to advance gaming. Personally.
Oh, that's
not too much, at least. as long as the controller is comfortable in my hand, it functions how it's supposed to. I'm kind of happy. The additionals are nice, the adaptive triggers, but I'm not like, it's not that much of a selling point to me to be like, oh, this game uses the vibrating triggers when this one doesn't. It's just like, I don't know. It's cool, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
And I do agree that, props to Sony for actually trying things with the controller and succeeding, because, the PS5 controller, I've heard is amazing. I've heard firsthand it's amazing because my brother has a PS5. And he says he loves the controller. Like he says it's absolutely amazing. Like when he's playing Demon Souls and stuff like that, when he first got it, he genuinely felt like, I don't know, it immersed him more into the game.
I really felt like a Dark Souls. I felt like an Estus flask.
Yeah, when I got hit, I actually was stabbed. Blood was pouring
comes out your
TV. But yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, my take on it is, the controller doesn't necessarily have to be the most innovative thing. I think they can improve on many other things, the console itself, and the game itself, before they touch the controller, in my opinion.
I'm with you. So you feel like the software and the hardware should be priority over the
those just other priorities.
On those tech teams. Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying the controller isn't a priority. I'm just saying it's the lowest in when you factor in the other things, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that's quite interesting, because I have always, and maybe this is just because it's something that I've looked at before across my degrees. Like I've always been kind of interested in peripherals and how that sort of stuff can enhance feelings of immersion and presence. In the literature, they tend to call it presence rather than immersion. Whatever, it's pretty much the same thing. But there's been patents and experiments with what's it called? It's essentially moisture, feedback on the controller, of having of the moisture being measured on your palms, and seeing how that can feed back into it, your heart rate being measured and stuff like that. And I think we've all heard of it, it's biofeedback, but I can't remember what it's called in particular. It begins with a D, when they measure your sweat and moisture. I can't remember. But this sort of stuff, I feel like it's quite untapped. And I bet these organizations, I'm sure, have experimented with it and ultimately felt too expensive. Not enough games will use it. But nonetheless, I do still feel that there is more you can do to make the thing you're holding in your hand feel like an extension of the thing that's happening on screen. And I do generally feel like the adaptive triggers are really nice for that. I probably would only use them 20% of my game time, because I'd be turning them off in multiplayer. Single player games, I bet it feels pretty sick. It's just another sense, and I think that's kind of the important part. I've always wondered why there's no vibration in the left stick. I'm sure it's hard to do, but just because of running. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could kind of emulate it in the vibration from the left to the right, but it's there's this whole kind of body of research that looks at which particular buttons should be mapped to particular things. Obviously we associate back buttons with triggers now, because that's usually fire, but that never used to be like that. Sometimes on PlayStation they used to have it, they don't anymore, but the bumpers would be fire, and the left stick tends to control your legs, and so you click it and you push it forward to sprint, and so it kind of psychologically it feels like a bit of an extension of your legs. So it's things like that. There are little things that lots of people look into, and so I do feel like there's more that could be done there, but I can understand from a cost perspective, and there's an element of are devs really going to use this if we put the feature in? And that was the whole thing about the touchpad last gen, is that even though it's kind of a cool idea, outside of their first party studios, no one gave a shit, because it's this is the only platform we're doing it for. Xbox doesn't have it, nobody else, and so why would we make our multi-platform games? It's just more work for nothing, essentially, unless Sony pay them to go out their way and do it. So I would ultimately, I'd love to see more experimented with in that area, and it would be cool if Xbox decided to do it as well. It could be one of those things that becomes industry standard. and that's good because that means devs are more likely to be like, yeah, okay, we'll use it.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good example of it, I know it's not a controller per se, but the whole like, will devs use the tech at their disposal for their game? One, they've got so many other things to do in terms of just making their game and wrapping up their game, and not including these gimmicky features, so to speak. A good example of it, I guess, was the Kinect, right? Like it wasn't a controller, but it was that extension of yourself that would immerse you into the game a little bit more. And like a game like Rise used it, where you shouted and he shouted in the game.
I love shouting like that.
But then no other game did it. All the game devs were like, we don't give a shit.
Not true. So you could shout your spells in Skyrim and in The Witcher.
Oh, really? Yeah. In The Witcher?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Jesus! All right, whatever. Most devs didn't care about it, and they were like, "Bin it." The Kinect's dead, that sort of thing. So these things, like you said, there's a cost to them. There's in both time and money, and the majority of the time, it's just not worth it. Like, just make a better final product of the actual video game itself. So,
and like, I mean, I would with those like peripheries, like. Obviously Kinect, obviously Switch with all their motion shit, and what did PlayStation have? The Move, PlayStation Move. That was like, I would say that was different because that's like a different periphery overall. But I do think it's important that we keep looking into ways of how like we experience the game, because essentially everything you're doing on screen is being funneled and filtered through the thing that's in your hands, and like the wider that we can make that kind of funnel, the better. Like, it's kind of my feeling. Of course, something like the Kinect is like, well, let's just make you in the game, and it's like, well, this is just maybe not. Maybe the tech's not there yet. Maybe this is a bit much. And the thing is, even if it was there, would people still use that? I don't know, because there's an element of like people want to sit down and play video games sometimes, rather than do handstands and somersaults in their front room to try and dodge a flaming arrow, So, no, I'm with you. Like, there are compromises, I suppose, but it's definitely something that I'm really interested to see how it kind of develops. Controllers, I'm interested to see what the next Xbox controller is for sure, because they've nailed the ergonomics of it, and I'd like to see like extra stuff that makes me go, wow, like this makes me feel like really like I'm in what I'm playing.
Yeah. I'd like to see that too. Yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of kind of peripherals, I guess the Steam Deck got revealed this week, and we didn't speak about it either because it was a couple of weeks back. But the Switch OLED also got revealed a couple of weeks back. I know this isn't strictly Xbox, but give me a break. Which do you want to start with?
Let's start with the Stream Deck.
Steam Deck, yeah?
Yeah, Steam. Heat stroke. It's fine.
I remember mistakes.
Steam Deck. You're like, I gave you two options and you picked a mystery third. Let's start with the Steam Deck. Okay.
What are your thoughts? What initial reactions to the Steam Deck? That's what I've got a picture if you scroll further down to the notes. I think.
I haven't. I haven't actually looked like too much into it, but I think it's really fucking cool.
Right?
Like, I think it's a really, really cool idea.
Come in December as well.
And I am absolutely that was so surprising to me. Yeah, this year, that's mental. I think it's really cool, man. And I am absolutely on board with it.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that it's taken this long for something like this to come.
I mean, a part of me is like, this is goofy as fuck, but part of me is like, this is cool. Like, this is a very interesting but understandable decision that Steam have made.
I don't know how comfortable it is.
A lot of people have said that it's weird that the face buttons are so far to the edge.
Yes. Yeah. Are you talking about the D-pad,
The D-pad and the yeah,
the like the X, Y, B, and A? Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, they're literally like if you were to hit like B, for example, your thumb might actually like
Just
slip
off.
off. It might slip off the edge of the controller.
Mm.
And I'm guessing those big squares. I'm guessing those are like trackpads, right? Yeah. I mean, like I said, I haven't looked too much into it, but yeah, man, that's cool. Like, and I just respect it. Like, whether or not it works or not.
Yeah.
Like, at least they're going for it.
You've got to respect the play.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool because there's so much stuff on Steam that I would like to play. Yep. And with you guys too. And to be able to play it also on the go too. I mean, does it have any feature where you can sort of like whip this thing into a TV and put it on a larger screen?
You can buy a dock. It does. Yeah, it doesn't come with it, but you can buy a dock to whip it into a TV.
Which is sick. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with this. I mean, it's a little bit pricey, but especially with the conversion rate being basically the same for pounds.
I mean, what will it be?
So if it's $399, it's going to be £399, right? That's what it works out to be.
Yeah, it's quite expensive.
They normally
no. We'll get 50. We'll get 50 off. So because like the Series X was $450 here, so it will be $350 for the first model and $470 for the middle one.
Yeah, and 64 gig is kind of a joke, right? That's the price for the lowest model, by the way. So 64 gig is kind of a joke. You probably want the 256 as a minimum.
Yeah, I've noticed it's actually a different internal storage. So it's eMMC internal storage for the top one, which I hadn't noticed before, and I also don't know what that means. But the middle one is NVMe SSD, which I know what that means. And that's the good one. So it's, I mean, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer to get the middle one unless you're like really, really casual about it. But
yeah, and it's not even that much more expensive because I think eMMC is just standard, just hard drive.
Is that HDD? Is it?
Yeah. I think it's just standard form of HDD. Yeah, so for an extra $129, you're getting far more storage and you're upgrading to SSD. I mean, that's a fucking no-brainer. Yeah. Like, are they even going to sell any of the other one? Like, it doesn't even make sense. It's a bit weird.
I think it's cool that they're doing different models. I find that really interesting. Like, Switch would never, like, Nintendo do this thing where they launch product and then they launch like other ones down the line. And obviously Xbox this time round has launched with two models. I just like that they're coming out with two models, but I guess because it's like kind of a PC oriented thing, that's maybe easier for them, or maybe that's just more their target audience that they can do that. And I think every day that goes by, I keep hearing good news about this thing, like the dock, and I heard that you can swap out and replace the storage on them. I don't know how easy it will be.
Oh, okay, it isn't soldered storage.
No, I don't know how easy it will be. Obviously, with the SSDs and stuff. I mean, unless they make proprietary. I have no idea. Again, this is something that everyone that I've listened to speak about this has been like, I don't know if I'll get this, and I don't know if I need this. But it's really cool, and I respect the idea. A lot of people are excited about it, and I think probably want a reason to buy it. Because I'm the same. Like, I think everybody out there with a Switch is looking at this and being like, this could be, the portable machine which has enough power to not run games like a piece of shit. It has also a good library because it's Steam. It's more ergonomically comfortable. However, do I need another portable gaming machine? And the answer is probably no. But so I think they do. They need to create a few more reasons, I think, for purchase. But the only thing, obviously, as being, the Xbox podcast that we are, the thing that goes through my head here is xCloud. And allegedly you can boot up Windows on it. Like, it has the OS on it, and you can access web browser, so you'll be able to get onto xCloud through it. And in which case, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if Xbox would be supporting this natively, but if they did, that's perfect. Like, that's absolutely perfect. Like, because all of the things I've got to like plug my phone and stuff, look, they're fine. But like, this is a proper console, like with the trackpads and everything. So that's like if that happened and they came out and they natively supported it for xCloud, that would be very, very quick purchase from me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it'd be quite a quick purchase for a lot of people. and I think it'd be very beneficial for Xbox to sort of work quite closely with these guys and actually integrate the two. And then they can have a big hand in both the portable market and the home console market. So it's a potential pretty big partnership for Microsoft there, and Xbox.
Yeah, and
but yeah,
assuming it's comfy and everything,
cool.
But you know, and it looks a lot better than the Switch does in terms of ergonomics, to be honest. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I can't tell how thick it is. It looks kind of chunky, but I think that's just coming from. I think I'm just looking at it from like the handheld perspective, because I think the actual hand bits are thicker on the side, and then it gets thinner towards the center.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was quite a chunky lad. I wouldn't be surprised if it was weighty.
Yeah,
because it's got.
It does look a bit chunky,
but you know that's really not a problem. So I'm.
No, it's just gains, mate. You just work out.
Yeah, you just like
work on your arms. Yeah.
So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this one. You know, coming out December, there's a lot of things that can happen that will be announced about this product between now and then that could get me very interested. Especially when it's coming out around Christmas. It's definitely something I don't need. I really don't need this. But I love the idea of that. It's just new tech, this is kind of new tech, and it's that integration with Xbox. Even though it would be cool as a product in and of itself, if it had that integration with Xbox, that's like going to be the thing that pushes me over the edge.
Yeah, for sure. I think depending how they market this, and if they work it properly with other companies like Xbox, to integrate this nicely, I feel like that's a huge selling point and could, make it appear under a lot of Christmas trees. But yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool, and I respect the effort. Good job, Steam.
Yeah, I agree.
We love you. I'd like to play a lot of your games, so you might get a purchase out of me regardless.
Okay. And obviously, it was kind of genius announcing this thing on the day that pre-orders went up for the Switch OLED, which, what the fuck? What is the Switch OLED? What is the point?
Yeah, the first thing I said to you when I watched the trailer was, when the trailer just ended and they were finished talking about the features of the new console, it's flashes up. They're like, a bigger screen, more enhanced visuals and stuff like that. I was just like, enhanced Joy-Cons? No, it's not there. No. The Joy-Cons still have stick drift and suck. I was like, fantastic. That's what I want out of a new console from you. I want you to improve on your other one, and the controllers, which is just dreadful. I don't want a 0.7 inch bigger screen. No. I don't want that.
And an Ethernet cable.
No.
An Ethernet plug.
And an Ethernet, that is pretty sick, to be fair, but also fucking stupid, because every console has one anyway, right? They're just catching up at this point. Yeah. It shouldn't be a selling point of it. I don't know. And sure, the nicer screen, but the Switch, we can all agree that when you're playing the Switch, a portable game on the Switch, it looks fucking crisp on that screen, regardless of it being 720p. It looks crisp because it's on a nice, compact, colourful screen. Playing Breath of the Wild handheld looked way better than when I played it on the TV, to be honest. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Didn't perform better, but it looked better, the actual visuals and the colours and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, great. I don't know. It's awesome. What's the price on the Switch OLED?
I'm pretty sure it's that's a good question. I want to say it's I think it was $450, maybe $500. It's full price, maybe $400, and it's in that price range. It's more expensive than the Switch was at launch, a little bit.
Jesus. Yeah, it's a lot of money, man, for just an improved screen, essentially, and 0.7 inches bigger. I don't know. I feel like they could have done more with it. I definitely would have liked to see improvements in the actual hardware itself, controller-wise. But hey,
whatever.
It's kind of cool, I guess.
All right.
Didn't blow me away.
Yeah, I know. It's whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I want to just come around to kind of our last story, really, which was about Xbox sales this month. Or the month of June, rather. And Xbox Series X, or the Xbox Series, rather, across the X and the X, was the best-selling hardware platform in dollar sales for the month of June. And that's the first time that has happened since 2011. So it's in dollar sales, not unit sales, but across all of the series. But that's still a pretty big achievement, considering. I'm assuming that's coming off the back of the E3, where they've obviously caught a lot of attention, and there's been a lot of sales. So that's a big pat on the back to the team, and that's when I spoke about the dam breaking earlier, though, this is part of it. I think a lot of perception is starting to turn around. A lot of work to still do, but there's a lot of that's huge. That hasn't happened in 10 years.
It just goes to show there's a lot of excitement around Xbox at the moment. There's a lot of stuff coming up, and people are noticing it, right? So they're starting to get their purchases in, and they're not wrong to do so, because I like you said with the dam breaking. We are ramping up, and it's going to get pretty crazy over the next couple of years, I think. Towards the end of this year and next year, especially next year, I feel is when you're going to really start seeing it just pick up and gain a lot of speed and a lot of traction. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this again happen in later months. Being the top in terms of sales, dollar sales.
As we get towards Halo at the end of the year, I would hope that we would see some success there, depending on how it performs. So yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
brilliant,
nice. Kudos to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, that's kind of everything I've got for y'all today. Is there any sort of closing thoughts from you at all?
No, not particularly. Apart from the Steam Deck, it's kind of cool, and I want to buy it. And the Switch OLED sucks. I feel like they kind of just cucked it, dude. They kind of cucked the Switch OLED. So
yeah, everybody wanted kind of a Switch Pro, like upgraded, specs and stuff, but it never came. And Steam Deck has definitely stole their lunch, So
yeah, exactly. Real alpha move from Steam there. So I respect that. Sure. But no, apart from that, I want to go have an ice cream.
That's such a good idea.
That's it from me.
Great. Well,
yeah, right.
Other than that, I'll just say, follow us on Twitter. Leave us any questions, comments, any contributions to the discussions would be great. Subscribe if you're interested in what we do. And other than that, stay gaming, stay cool, and we'll speak to you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Bye everyone.